Israel with a lot of alarms going on at night, so my schedule's a bit off. But I'm here with you to bring you some good analysis. Let me see if you're all listening. I'll share my screen. I also fixed my screen, so that's also good. And we're gonna do some analysis. I think there was a lot of fear in the weekend. I'll show you what where I did a great mistake last trading session, which I was Friday, and then I'll show you guys what I'm doing today in Monday. Okay, so the mistake I made Friday was believing that this was a legit breakout, when in fact this was a fake out. So let me show you what happened here. My thoughts were that, hey, this is like clear resistance. So if we manage to hold this, then I'll be looking for longs, because that was seemingly pointing out to be a legit breakout. Obviously, by the time I had to leave home and I put my orders, this obviously was a fake out. And then what we did is come much farther to the downside. Now, look at this drop. And then we had another one to 101. So this makes me think that we might actually be trying to find a bottom. But let's zoom out a bit before we start making some big calls. And let's take a look this way, okay? So on a longer term, on the daily, we obviously see that the trends being respected. This was the low, I think, for the year. And the question now, if this is going to be like a third rise, we generally have this rise in three, like one, two, and then is this going to be like the third kind of dip before we head on to parabolic, or we're going back to test some of these key levels? I don't think that Bitcoin, if it does, is going to go below this 93 level. I do think this is going to hold a lot of resistance because of the amount of support that has been found here. But the question is now, let's start zooming in on the more short term, right? We obviously have a bounce here, but this bounce has not yet made a new higher high. So this is not yet like a breakout, like an official breakout. This can still break down from here, right? So we have this kind of line. This is the shape, the like the break, the fake out that cost a lot of longs to get wrecked. But and we're still not over that one. So let me raise that one. And now let's look at the other charts, okay? Before we do the zoom in. On the Nasdaq, we see a very good recovery. Remember that we were trying this orb strategy. We are still inside the opening range of today. If we look at the 15 minutes, this is our opening range. We're still inside it, but trying to break out after trying to break above, below, and finding kind of support here. So I guess in the next 10 minutes, if this closes up, I would say that this is probably bullish for the stock market. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin dominance. You see, Bitcoin dominance, I drew a clear level of support. Now, we have some bad news here in terms of your altcoins, and you've probably felt it if you have an altcoin portfolio. I told you guys that this was shaping to try to break to the upside. If it broke this 65 convincingly, which obviously it did, we are in trouble because the pattern that we're testing right now is this very long-term pattern of the basically the bull market for Bitcoin and bear market for altcoins. Now, if this breaks to the upside, I would consider it going to the final target for the year, which would be around the 71 to 72%, which I do see some huge relief for altcoins coming then, hopefully. Obviously, all everything collapses and it just keeps going up. But on the short term, we see that we are trying to re-enter this pattern that we broke out of. That will be very, very positive for altcoins. You see this white line? If we break convincingly before here, I think altcoins might outperform. And if we're bouncing from here, that would coincide. But if this is being tested as support here, then we might be in for some more pain. Now, same is going on here with total market cap. We see around 3 trillion. It dumped to below 1 trillion, but we could argue that this is now sort of a swing failure pattern, right? Why? We tried to break it once, we tried to do the breakdown of this trend, but then we quickly bounce. You see, this is a failed breakout, and this is a key level over here. So this is kind of a failed breakout, which would support the short-term bias to the upside. However, if on the short term we cannot hold this level, which is like $2 billion below this, and I would be saying, okay, this was probably just a lower high, and we're heading down to the 93K. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if this box holds for the time being. And what I would say is Bitcoin has not gone into its range of the opening of today's London session, see, which is around here. So arguably, Bitcoin and crypto is now even is acting more bearish than the stock market because we have not yet retested here. But we cannot say that this is still going to now go to a lower end because we have not yet broken this. I mark this green box is essentially just the order block, the hourly order block. Why? Because this was a lower low, lower low, lower low, lower high, and then this is trying to break out of this range, right? It hasn't done so yet, but if it does, then the bullish order block that we will be looking at is this last down candle, and now we would need to see if this has the potential to be the breaker to the upside, which we'll only know after it surpasses 102. So now the question is, okay, so for the short term, are we going to look for longs or shorts? And that's the big question, because this has a good potential to be a like a fake out to the downside, but on the medium term, guys, there's no denying that we're bearish, right? Lower lows, lower highs. This is a lower low. We probably might be doing another lower high here at 103, but then we can drop another leg, and that will drive us all the way to the 23 to 25 area. I'm not saying that that's gonna happen, but it might, right? Because we had one level drop. If you consider this one, we consider this as a level two, and then we would have another level three down to like capitulation levels. So I would call this 93 most likely capitulation levels. But we don't know if that's the case now. So for now, what we'll do is we'll focus on this short term. We'll see if this holds. Where is the dominance? We want to see if this breaks down. If this breaks down convincingly, then I have a strong base to go long because I'm saying, okay, there's some capital coming back to the altcoin market. We don't know yet because this would need to hold, right? This is acting very similar to Bitcoin. So let's see the total three and exclude Bitcoin. Where are we standing here? Okay, so you see here is we even marked this level. So I would say, hey, if we get another 1 or 2 billions into crypto, this has the potential to break it to the upside. So I think Bitcoin and this chart are going to mark my next moves. So we're gonna next look for the next candles, and then what we want to do is, if we're not breaking down here, we'll just do a trade on Bitcoin. But if we are breaking down here, we'll look for outperformers. Okay, so that's the analysis. Now for the trades. Let's see what are we looking at. So as you can see, this account is No more. It was breached. Too bad. I had some very good profitable trades, and it's painful to lose an account, guys. Painful. But it is part of the learning process. You cannot expect to everything go out on your first account. Wow, what is this? 25% of move? What is this come making a comeback? This project was utterly dead, guys. Look, look at this chart, man. It's completely dead. But this is a problem when you have an illiquid coin, right? Like somebody can say, "Oh, I want to bet $1 million on this coming back, and that'll be enough with a low liquidity altcoin to do this 25% move." So yeah, I would not be touching this coin because this type of moves can wreck you guys. Both the like if you're doing spot, you can take a punt and say, "Ah, okay, if it manages to hold here, I think it's gonna make a comeback," and then you hold it for months, and this, you see what you're willing to risk because it is a potential what almost 10x to the upside, maybe a bit less, let's say 7 or 8x to just recuperating. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't bet on that. The other one making good ops is S, but Phantom lost its key support, guys. This 3 cents, 30-cent line, that was the line of the sand, guys. This was like, let me paint it. This was a key line of the sand. We could not lose this three, and now we've lost it. So look at the aggressive move to the downside. So now it's trying to make a recovery, but then this area will most likely now act as resistance. Right now, I'm not taking any trades. I don't want to get faked out again to the upside, although it is looking more favorable to the bulls at this stage than to the bears because the damage was done over the weekend, guys. Like, look at this. This is some serious damage, man. What are we on the 23rd? Let's just look at the weekend, right? This was Friday. This is the fake out, and then boom. This is no less than where's the price range in these graphs? Just a minute. Yeah. So from the fake out all the way to this part, we had a 8% drop on Bitcoin. So and altcoins getting crushed. So we have a likelihood of a bounce, but then again, we have not yet reclaimed this 102, 300. So this is another line in the sand that without it, we cannot say that we're back on track without reclaiming this kind of level. Where is it? Price line. Like this. So without recouping this price level, I wouldn't say we're out of the woods yet. Now, the big question is if we're not going upwards in the short term, are we going down for another leg? So would we be shorting, right? That's an interesting question. Let's figure it out. Yeah, you see, we're trying to head it down to the orb. What I would do, following our strategy, is if we close this candle above this orb, I'm gonna start punting some longs. But let's see about this candle first because this has not yet reached its initial range, and this can act as resistance. If we do, then we're likely gonna find another leg down over here. So we're not gonna long blindly, guys. We're gonna wait for closes over here. We're gonna see if this holds the 65.6 level, or it's starting to break down. If it's breaking this market structure, then I'll be tempted to look for altcoins. You see, total three is already breaking to the upside. So it's looking positive on the short term for a bounce. This is what I'm looking for. So we're about to open New York session. So we might just wait for another 15 minutes to decide. Yeah, New York session's open. All right, guys, what do we say? What do we say? So we're gonna wait now. We're gonna wait for 15 minutes. Let's see if I have people with me. Do I have people in the chats? Let me invite over here. Share link. Let me see if Mati is here. All right, London sessions in, guys. Right now we're below New York sessions in, and we are below London session right now. But anything can change. Let me see if Matt can join me. Mhm. Okay, invite sent. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we're gonna wait now for the New York candle to decide. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna eliminate these sessions so that we are now going to be listening to this new session, New York, which tends to bring much more volume as well, guys. So remember, we need to be patient here and not jump to conclusions, because what New York can do, and it's classical for doing, is brings a lot of volatility, and New York loves to start with a fake move. So what it may easily do is say, oh, we're super bullish, and then come retest this 22K level, and then just dump again for another leg, and that will be a bearish move. So we have to act patient here, guys. And we so far we have our box for the London, so we could box the London session here. Say high of the session, and then low of the session. It's the blue for London, and now we're gonna paint this one's yellow. Remember, guys, this is not a bulletproof silver bullet strategy. I'm testing it out with you, but we are giving it a true shot, right? Why? Because it's a very simple to understand. Simplicity is good, and we want a simple technique that gives us. If we have a simple technique that can give a daily bias that works, then we have ourselves an edge. Hmm. All right. So first candle session, it's almost there. Not sure what this wants to do, guys. You see, we can easily find resistance over here. Let's see what the charts are doing. Would you jump? Would you jump into the longs or short, guys? What are we thinking? Leave me some comments about Solana. Is it recuperating or not? Hmm. There's a battle going on Twitter around the prices with James Wind quoting none other than El Capo. So let me just read you the tweets, guys, because remember James Wind got wrecked for $100 million P&L, going long at like the Pico top at 105. Now he's saying sail the deep, and 4 hours ago he said Capo has spoken. I don't think the real capitulation has started yet. So these guys are ugly hard shorts. I think he was probably very bearish. Mm, well, let's see. We have other traders that I like. Let's see what Main is saying on Twitter or on his Telegram and Fefe. Let's see what they're saying. I think they're saying more like buy the dip. I like Trader Main. Okay, Fart coin, nice level. But I think he's buying stop now. So he's looking at a 2000 for an order block. Let's take a look at ETH. Really, so we're going with that. ETH. It's Pepe. Where's ETH? ETH is here. You could argue this could be like a liquidity grab to the downside. But the question remains: are we gonna do the bounce up or not? So right now, I remain neutral, guys. I want to have a bit of confirmations and not a lot because on a day trade, we cannot wait for like full confirmation. We need to act quickly. And my two levels for ETH are going to be this two, between 2,300 and 2,000. If we manage to break out of this and close, I'll be already looking for longs. And if not, we'll be looking for shorts. So I guess that could be a good first trade. What is Fartcoin doing? Fartcoin's trying also to put a low. You could argue that this is an attempt of a breakout, but you know what's up with trendline, guys. We're not too confident about them anyway. Okay, so London session's looking up. Let's market around Bitcoin too. We'll see what goes, guys. We're not making a decision. We're not rushing into any trades. You see, this is back. This is tested this resistance that I talked to you about. Now it's holding up again. So this really might be just a dead cat bounce, and then maybe we have another leg down to go. If so, look at some great altcoins that was performing super parabolic and are now like crashing down badly. Like this is already 50% down from this peak, and it's probably gonna go to 618 if it keeps dumping, right? But it's just so volatile, guys, that even a quick bounce gives you like can wreck you any trade. So these are a bit dangerous to trade right here. It's not looking too good, guys. Let's see what the reaction is of this order block. Okay, if we do come down here, if we do see a very violent like John Wick candle, like here not managing to break this 101, then I'll be keen to look for longs. If not, I'll be shorting this market, guys. Especially if we lose this level on the total three and Bitcoin dominance keeps creeping up. So yeah, we have to give this, guys. Remember, we have to give this a few minutes more to decide. Yeah, if we are gonna bounce down, then I don't know. I wouldn't short S either because we're right now in like retesting some very brutal previous market lows, and you don't have any levels to track, so you don't know where is it going next. Like at least here, let's say on grass, if you would be shorting grass, you know that no, it's also it slows. Guys, this is versus the dollar. Like we really haven't seen a real altcoin run in 3 years, I think, right now. We saw a glimpse of meme coin season and AI agent narrative run, but nothing, nothing, nothing. If you've been holding outs like I have been, it's been brutal. Oh, now Sui is interesting. Sui. Look at this super breakout. And we're right now retesting that breakout. So if we would put a daily order block here, we could argue that, hey, we are right now, you see, this broke market structure and this was this last candle. So we could argue that, hey, we are right now approaching this daily order block around here. And, shit, what's wrong with this chart, man? Wait, okay, forget it. Yeah, okay. At least I have undo. Let's paint this bullish order block, not here, but here. So essentially, this would be the order block on the day that created this bullish candle to break. And you could argue that this is already like retesting it. And this has not broken a bullish structure yet. So arguably, Sui, if we would bounce on Bitcoin, is looking stronger than other alts that have broken key support levels. This hasn't. This is holding it right here. See? So that's a good argument to make. But right now, all the charts look very similar, which leads me to think that we might be heading down, guys. You see? Starting to break out and then boom. But this is the order block. Still, we are yet to see. We're not deciding yet. So we got our first candle. Yes, we do. First 15-minute candle is closing in a minute and 40 seconds. Looking relatively bearish. So we'll know in 1 minute 30, and then we'll wait for the reaction and see where the orb tells us to trade for the day. This is Bitcoin and this is the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is looking, the stock market is looking more bullish than Bitcoin, guys. This moment, you see, it's having less trouble holding this. We're having some more buyers coming in than sellers. So yeah, this is where we stand. One more minute, and we'll see what becomes of this. So I'll be saying that this is going to already become our orb high for the opening session, and we're about to mark the low. This is not the low. This is what we want to see hold. Remove this one. 33 seconds, guys. If we have a very strong like John Wick candle here, I'll be looking for longs. And if not, I'll be looking at the weakest ones, weakest coins to short. Because this is a very strong rejection over here at this session. And again, this might be a fake move. So we shall see. 10 seconds to go. See, this is trying to put in a significant low. Five, four, three, two, one. We have our 15 minutes. We're going to mark the high. Now we're going to mark the low. And we're going to wait for the breakout of this range to set our bias for the day. This is in the stock market. And as we agreed, we're going to try this technique out on Bitcoin and relate it to the total three and the Bitcoin dominance to see if this is going to be our bullish bias or not. Okay, so let's see. This is the order block by the way, guys. So we might have a strong reaction from here, which would make a good long entry. But I want to wait for confirmation here. See, we're still in the range. If we start breaking down, I'll look for shorts. If we start breaking out, I'm looking for longs. Right now, it's looking more bearish, to be honest. And I would be shorting the probably the weakest coins. SPX. No, not looking good, bro. Not looking good. Now this was super strong. See, hype, and it's arguably also trying to put in a breakout. But it needs to hold this low over here. So the low that we're looking for the hype is this one over here. If it's hanging, if it's holding this well, and it's trying to make another attempted breakout, then hype is a good candidate for a recovery, for sure. But if not, hey, might be heading for a more serious correction. We don't know yet. All right, we're gonna give it a candle, guys. Let this orb play out. Then Bitcoin tells what it's doing next, and we shall see. We got another 10 minutes or so to resolve this, guys. So let me just make my note down what I'll be attempting for longs and what I'll be attempting for shorts. Okay. So for longs, I like hype, I like Sui, and I like ETH. I don't know, man. It could be like I have an explosive recovery, but right now you see Sui's like acting more bullish around the 2.5 area, and then ETH. ETH just because it's super exhausted, hasn't done much. Mm, Maybe we'll take a look at SPX if this thing starts like really making a strong recovery, which doesn't look like it for now. So we shall see. Terrible, 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 guys. Terrible price action. Look at this. This is the pump of the dinner. Trump dinner was announced here at 22 of April. It jumped straight up, 100% move, and then it has just puked it all back. We're back at eight and change. So all these guys had their dinner and said, "Okay, dinner's done," and you could have shorted this, I think right after the dinner, and that would be a fundamental trade. You'll be already up 100%. So imagine a leverage play like that. Those are the opportunities in the market, guys, but those are more like swing trades. All right, guys. As we said, we're waiting another candle close below this, and if we do, if we don't start, if we don't manage to breach this original range in the Nasdaq, and we break down of your opening range for BTC, attempting to break down of this recent 101 support, I'm gonna be looking for shorts. Again, guys, this is like short-term day trading. If you're long-term focused, this is a great buy area, like 100 all the way to 90%. Don't get caught up in a 10% drop on your spot bags. And definitely do not like capitulate and sell them off, because I don't think the bull market is done or said its most. I think this whole war thing, in terms of the market, like we're suffering greatly. Don't don't get me wrong. Like this has been the longest war our people has been through, certainly since I've been to Israel. If you take into account since October 7th, but this is the one, guys. This is the one. We have an opportunity for true change in the Middle East. If the Iranian people take back their crown, and I'm hoping they will. So now that you're with me and you're, I'm gonna let you in on another trade secret that I've been taking. But let's give it a few minutes here, shall we? Looking bearish for now. If we don't have a brutal, like, cohesive and strong bounce over here, I'm gonna start looking for shorts. Yep, that is the verdict. I'm gonna get some coffee, guys. Helps me focus and helps me. Yeah, this world coin's going to shit, man. Sam Altman's coin. Look at this. Brutal. Not going anywhere. All right, guys. I'm gonna be back with you guys in a few minutes. So hold on to your horses. I'm gonna leave you with the Bitcoin chart, and we are seemingly breaking down this range. Not signing off on the odds here. So we I'd rather get some confirmation of this breakdown before entering. This can be a fake move, remember, and we haven't yet broken out of this orb in the Nasdaq. So hold on. I'll hold on with the shorts. I'd rather have a worse price but more confirmation than a optimal price in either direction, and be just guessing randomly. All right, guys, keep an eye on the chart. Be back with some coffee, and we'll take some live trades. Okay? Been here for 40 something minutes. Be back. We're back, guys. What do you guys do? What are you guys doing with the chart? Okay, so we're attempting to break this down. Man, this looks so ugly. It's so ugly that I'm tempted to long. You know what I'm saying? It just the internal feeling says that can it really get that much worse? And the bottom line is it always can. It always can. Mm-hmm. Top three is not breaking, not holding this. Bitcoin dominance hasn't broken down this. And Nasdaq's about to break its orb to the downside. Mm, not looking good, Rubs. Not looking good. It's looking like this wants to favor the bear, so we're gonna want to head out for another leg down. We'll make our call in 1 minute. This is breaking down. It's hanging around the downside, so it's not making like a violent upside move, which allows me to think that we might be heading down. We got 1 more minute for this candle, guys. If we don't get a super strong bounce here, I'm gonna start entering some short positions. 1 minute. I don't really like it because we're all also not entering like very key points. But again, this might just be it, man. While it's not looking too good, for coins not looking too good. Neither does SPX. SPX like whew, maybe done, and this was reaching for all time high, guys. This was like here. I don't know what this candle was, but this was truly reaching for all time highs. But if we drop here like 50% from all time highs, that's almost a 50% drop. That would put us here on this support, guys. And a 20% drop on a short span of time is significant. You see? So it might be shorting this. Let's just remove drawings, the price line. This is a breakout. This is what we're trying to build support as. And this is our swing failure SFP here, which might not be an SFP if we keep breaking down. You see? Broke down of the orb, close below, breakdown of the orb below NASDAQ. I'm hitting the short, guys. Getting some shorts. So I'm gonna sell here. 5,000 of SPX. This level. We'll see if we get it. I'm gonna sell fart coin, which is already breaking down. Another 5 units. And we are going to sell, I guess, Trump coin. Trump coin is good because it's a hard yeah. So there is risk, of course, guys. We're gonna try to limit that, but we're heading. Looks like we are attempting to head down to another leg. We'll see how if it's just a fake out, which it might be, or if we're going to retest this 98. Even if we just retest this 98 and it's a 2% drop in Bitcoin, that means a lot for altcoins. You see, we would be losing this. What we're trying to make is a support, and we're rising again in dominance. Nasdaq dropping from the orb. It might be a fake movement, but yeah, it might be a fake out, of course. So treat this with patience, and we're not gonna be very committed. So what we do, guys, is we have kind of a manual stop here, but we're gonna put both. Okay, want to stop here above 9259. I want to show you my stops so that you know what the risks are. Yeah, this is a bit too risky, so we're gonna shorten it here to this very last fake out candle. Remember, guys, this is short term, so and we're now going to enter the SPX1 trade. See where that's at. The stop loss around 106, which is also super heavy. So we're gonna try to narrow it down. ¿Qué pasó, mi amor? To this one over here. ¿Qué pasó, chiquito? And our last one, ¿qué, mi amor? ¿Qué? A lo mejor ya te casté la pila. Sí, te acabó la pila. Te lo cargo, chiquito. And last but not least, we have a short on Trump. We want the stop to be around 8725. Now, guys, remember this might very easily be a like a fake out to the downside, and this is a fake move, and I'm just entering longs preemptively. So I'll be very wary on the stops here. If it's not breaking down decisively over the next few minutes, I'll just step out of the trades because I'll consider this a fake move to the downside, and I'll be just probably re-entering longs. You see this wick? This week is like, yeah, not sure. Maybe it's a fake out to the downside. So if it's a fake out to the downside, we'll know about this. We're 200 away, $200 in Bitcoin of knowing that. You see, we're heading up to the outside. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Still a bit early for me to flip. Yeah, I don't like this, guys. I'm closing out here. I'm gonna flip the other way around. It might just have been a fake out to the downside. Looks like it. So yeah, I think we're gonna get a bounce. Looks like we want to get a bounce from here. We'll see. I'm gonna leave some margin up here because it's already quite heavy. I think I entered too early, guys. I wanted to see the reaction, and we now got the reaction. So yeah, enter the shorts a minute too early. Guys. Not good. Not good for your boy. You gotta more monitor this. See how it goes. Apparently, the play was long, guys, and this was a fake out to the downside. We'll see. Yeah, I needed to just wait till this candle closes. You see, this is probably the capitulation to the short side. The important thing for the day is like being directionally right, guys. I do think that does look like a bounce is loading, but we'll see. You cannot take any more trades because the equity limit is it's on 100, so you need to be very careful here, guys. Ah man, feel so foolish entering shorts here at this candle. I think I rushed it, guys. You see, that's a problem. You need to be. I was patient for this whole hour, and then I got impatience at the last candle, which we got the wick and we got the signal. So we essentially wanted to wait for this type of candle, this John Wick candle, and I just went in and entered shorts before. It's a big no-no. Okay, big lesson, guys. Big lesson. You see? Now even the Nasdaq's back into the orb. If we close inside the orb, this is going to probably engulf this, and this is a bullish signal. Just wait a bit more, wait a bit longer, wait a bit longer. What's the problem with waiting just a bit more? Ah, see if it's recovering too. We'll see. Yeah, I think the play was to the upside, guys. We rushed it by 1 minute. Damn it. Okay. Yes, we're still looking bullish, guys. I think this is a very strong candidate for a bounce. The other one that we were looking at for a bounce was Sui. Yeah, you see this reaction? This reaction is strong to the upside. Let's see if we get a confirmation or not. So bottom line, guys, should have waited for an extra minute. We're currently long Farker and XPX, trying to get long Sui. If it gives us a bit of a pullback here, made a big mistake going in short too early, right at the fake out, which is a very important lesson for moving forward. But if you're watching this, then you get a good chance to enter where you should and not where I did. Yeah, it looks like a very strong candidate for a bounce, guys. And the fake move was to the downside as usual. See, fake down, fake move to the downside. Very strong John Wick candle to the downside. Fake, fake, fake down. And probably we're gonna head up for the next couple of hours. We'll see. We'll see how strong that is. Right? All right, guys. So these are the trades. Have them with you. Let's hope for a better outcome this time. Do not rush your trades, guys. Wait for the candle close. Shit. Okay, now we're looks like we're heading up. We're probably going to keep bouncing here. This is good. See this fake out level? This is a good SFP, right? We're trying to hold it support, fake out, but holding strong. Most charts look like this, so I would be betting on a potential strong bounce from here. Let's see. Yeah, Bitcoin's bouncing out of the orb range. This was a decision candle, not this one, guys. Okay, so that was a mistake. We put it into perspective. This candle here hasn't even closed yet. So you can even hold off for your decision until in 2 minutes and still come to the same conclusion that we're most likely going to head up for the rest of the day. Let's see. All right, guys, it's been an hour or more. Yeah, we're closing out the hour. Let's leave the stream here. Hope you have a very green day. This is looking good already. Almost above my dumbass entry that I did previously. So it's looking good to the upside. I think we're gonna have a strong bounce. I wish you all a very, very, very good trading day, and hopefully we find peace in the Middle East soon. See you soon, guys. Bye. Okay,